Hi everyone, I'm John if you prefer. It could be easier to pronounce in English that way. The first session for today would be to discuss about the technical priorities and what we worked also during the Next10 session for the past, let's say, half a year, something like that. Just a quick recap. The main idea would be to spend a few minutes on the recap on the main initiative and what we work on and what we are working on, but also to gather your input on what should be the next big initiative that we want to work on and you think would be core to the project, and that is something that we should discuss together for today. So like I said, current initiative, project we are working on, also some feedback from the survey. We already saw some slides and some information for the past, during the past Core About Us Summit, but everyone wasn't here, so it could be great also to have a good feedback from the community with everyone. And finally, it's an easy retro and next project, stuff like that. I will try to go fast on the just current initiative because pretty much everything is already being part and including in the Next10 repository, and I guess the good part of the time would be, the most interesting part here is to brainstorm together on what would be the next good technical priorities that you think could be great for the project and stuff like that. Okay, so we do have some core part of the project that work and initiative that were started during Next10 session. There is one that is mostly championed by Ulysses, which is the news of the project, and Michael will be talking about that a lot more into detail a bit later, but the main idea would be to share with the world and with everyone what we are doing in Node.js, because even if we are able to, and we follow most of the working group, for people external to the project, it can be quite hard to be aware about what's happening other than, oh, I'm using Node.js to create a server. That's great, cool. There is also a long part from the documentation that is still a work in progress, and Claudio is working on that and doing an amazing job on everything, so kudos to him. And also one of the key part, and we will have a discussion also today, and I think it's a good idea to just speak about that today, would be how to find more corporate support from having people joining from company to just being involved in the Node.js ecosystem and Node.js project to help on pretty much everything on multi-part, but also how company can support and sponsor the project. It's a wide ecosystem around that, but we'll discuss about that a bit later today. Just quick feedback on the stuff. We had multiple mini summits. Most of the time, one every 3 to 4 months. The last one was one about serverless, which was in June, if I remember correctly, something around that. Main idea is to try to have a deep dive in some specific project and specific ideas that are really interesting or core of the project or part of the technical priorities that are being raised by the community. The previous survey that was on start of the year, something around 1,700 answer on that with more or less global feedback. I will come back to just some of the big presentation there, or big part where we were a bit surprised for some of them. Also, we discussed during the last summit and Core About Us Summit about the example repository, which was mostly not really active, let's say, for the past couple of years. It's starting again with trying to find idea and working with other working groups to try to find ways to provide a better, I don't want to say documentation, but example how to use specific part of Node.js, how to work on specific areas that are also a big concern for the community or answer question. For example, it will at one point include how do you work to provide a library that can be used both in ESM and CGS, and if you check that today you will find 20 different articles which are not up to date or not working or stuff like that, or just use TypeScript and don't care about the rest. So yeah, that's the main idea on the example initiative. So by the way, if some people want to jump on this initiative, just ping me. Would be great to have more people that want people to work on that. But yeah. For the survey, quick part here, which was the first big surprise. The majority of people that answered were people in Europe for the survey, which shocked us as we were expecting North American to be a lot more present. And to be honest, we were expecting North America and Europe to be reversed in number of answers. So I don't know if you all people from the US took part of the survey or not. But this is an interesting news to have on this one. Also, quick part, package manager, npm was the first one being used 60% of the time, with yarn and npm being used after that, so no really surprise there, I guess, for everyone. Also, a bit shocking or surprising at least, Windows, Linux, and macOS are almost at the same level for local development, which we weren't expecting that. Like, we were expecting Windows to be way lower than that. Seems like a third of the people that enter use Windows as a dev platform, so that's quite surprising on that. On the other hand, for production ecosystem, Linux is a big winner here. No really big stuff. Just some people seem to still use macOS as a server. Yeah, so I don't know who, but that's, if even Apple don't use that, so congratulations for people that still find server on that. For the architecture, so x64 main one, but ARM is the one that growing a lot, and I think there is multiple parts from people using serverless technology or building on cloud provider with ARM architecture and stuff like that. So that's mostly a use case. Also, we have PPC and S390 that are part of it. And finally, just we also I did a question about the previous technical priorities in the main ID, and seems like it's pretty ordered in the same way as how the community thinks that's important for the Node.js ecosystem and project, from being able to use a modern HTTP way to documentation, to use better multi-threading, to ESM and stuff like that. So yeah, and if you check on the list also, this is some part of initiatives that are we are working all together, from, let's say, the observability with everything with the diagnostic channel, to ESM, to multi-threading, to WebAssembly and stuff like that. And also one point, we asked a question about were you going to use ESM in your project, but we also had a question in will you choose ESM or CGS as a new project? In both cases, it was mostly a yes, so ESM as a main way to use, which for I think one of the first time crossed the 50% mark of answers. So like everyone, like at least the majority of people think about starting a new project using ESM right now and not using CGS, which seems to be great, at least as a standard way for that. If you want to check all other results, there is a Next10 repository. You will find everything. There is multiple. You have also direct answer. Some questions were like open questions, so I don't have a graph on that. It was about, what's your main pain point using Node.js, for example, this one, or main topic that we want to address or is concerning for the community. Big two would be ESM versus CGS, what are we going to do and stuff like that. And the second one would be, can I use TypeScript directly with Node.js? Nothing really specific on that, but that's the two main points around this topic. And finally, just before spending some time, the main idea will now discuss about new priorities and what you think could be important for the project. And also one direct question for the Next10 is, we plan to have another summit before the end of the year. That would be great. We don't really know which topic yet. Could we do another one with serverless because the previous one we didn't got a lot of people, or maybe something a bit more deep dive into Node API or anything that could be cross-platform like Node.js, Rust, something linked to that, or any other ID. So if you have ID, please come to see Michael and myself, would be great, or just comment on the Next10 repository. Like, if you find good ideas that could be really interesting for the community or yourself and could bring something to the Node.js ecosystem, that would be really, really great on that. So yeah, feel free to ping us when you want. And finally, the last one would be the link for the Easy Retro. I could give you a shorter link, like, on that. I don't think I have Slack being configured on this one.
Is it in the link that's in the end?
Sorry?
Like putting it in the issue?
Oh, yeah.
Might be another easy way.
Yep. Good. Yep. It is. So I put it in the OpenJS Foundation on the issue itself. So yeah, the main idea would be to spend a few minutes. Most of the time we do it in 3 specific parts for the technical priority. What do you think are the technology trends that are around or part of the Node.js ecosystem? If you see some feature that need to be added, changed or updated or something around that, and any kind of other topic, that would be great for the technical priority there. Yeah.
So yeah, you want to just start out with like technology trends, so you can do.
Oh yeah, we can do it line by line. Would be great. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's good to get some interaction. We can sort of go through that. So like,
Yep.
you can open that one up and spend like
Yep.
5 minutes or something. Okay, sure. Yeah. Like in terms of the technology trends, it's, you know, we want to know what are people thinking about, what do we think is going to affect the project, and so we'll brainstorm that. Then in the, like in terms of Node.js features, we have the technical priorities and we have, so we want to see like, do we think that those are still accurate? But we'll start with like an open brainstorm that says like, what are the key things that people think we should be working on the project? And so the easy retro lets everybody can log in there and do them in private.
Yep.
Then we'll sort of reveal them. You can see the counts and we can see what people are thinking is interesting, and then we can actually just have like a discussion is the idea. So you want to?
It's already being set.
It's already one? Okay.
To be yeah, card hidden and stuff like that. Yeah.
Technology trends, what are the things we should be thinking about?
Where does the link go?
Oh.
Can we send the link out?
It's in the, if you go to GitHub, there's an issue for the agenda.
Yeah. Someone found it.
And in there,
In this one?
yes.
Yeah.
There.
It's the issue 376. What? Oh yeah, I'm not on Slack, so if you are part of the.
Wait, are you talking? I'm in the Next10 repo.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it's the OpenJS. Yeah. OpenJS Foundation Summit issue 376.
It's on the Open Summit, OpenJS.
Wait.
GitHub.
376 West. You posted a 372. Yeah. But thanks. Thank you.
Recording in progress.
Claudio, do we have until 10? Do we have until up to 10?
Recording in progress.
So it's 31. Let's take like something around 10 minutes to give you time to find ID and stuff like that. Then we can go through pretty much everything. We have something around 20 minutes that way. Are we all good? Or do we need a few minutes? No? Okay, let's start. Up. Wrong one. Yep. Let's display record. Okay, great. Oh, that's really nice because I'm seeing technology trend and we already recognize some of the stuff before that. So let's start from the list from the technology trend first and we'll try to group some other parts. So we do have quick, better tracing support, serverless, artificial intelligence, type safety integrated smoothly without boilerplate, monorepos, AI. I will just group the two, AI. Yep. Performance, monitoring without too much overhead on performance, web GPU, lightweight thread, and process with friendly APIs, supply chain security, Go routine, WASM, and WAS. Okay. Do we see some specific part that need to be, so better tracing support, I guess we could merge it with monitoring without too much overhead? Yeah, all good? Are we okay to merge type and type safety integrated smoothly? I guess it's the same. Performance, web GPU, lightweight thread. Yeah, I think it's pretty good there. Okay. Let's do the second one, Node.js feature. So HTTP3, TypeScript first-class citizen, require Node benchmark. Okay. Other language integration in the source, Rust, Zig, you name it. Better diagnostic tool, single executable, diagnostic observability. I will merge this one with better diagnostic tool. Single executable, assertion, snapshot, performance, artificial intelligence feature to support the need of AI. Okay. I think it's all good. And the last one, social media increase has been great. How do we continue increasing our social media presence? What can the board do to help? How can we be more effective? And project health. Okay. How many people? These are 3. Okay.
One thing I wonder is, like, having seen these, are there any things that come to people's mind and say, well, wait a sec, we missed something, or, like, so are there any other things we might try out? Can you merge AI?
Where? This one? We cannot merge cross column.
Oh, you cannot?
No, it's just per column. Yeah.
Can you try?
Where should I move it? Like this one here? Okay, it works. Great. Yay. Great.
Actually, whoever put that as a Node.js feature, I don't know if you want to volunteer yourself, but did you talk about what an AI Node.js feature would be? Like what does that mean?
For instance, reduce the compute-intensive task overhead in order you can compete with TensorFlow pandas.
So this would be something like the web GPU type? Because isn't that...
Kinda, yes.
Okay.
We were discussing here about how to treat together.
Cool.
I'm sure it's not a general question. It's just a technical parameter, it's general priorities.
I think.
Because on top says tech, and then we spoke about social media on the right.
I think that's just the other.
That's
right?
other.
Yeah, the others.
Technical trends.
I will add that one then.
Okay.
Yeah, so if there's anything else that comes to mind. Yes, to performance. Yeah.
Yeah.
Although I think I would.
No. Yeah, I think it could be in the 2 column. Yeah. Also, if you want to vote, you do have 5 votes per user. Should we increase it maybe a bit more?
Is that across? Is that
Yeah, it's across the board in total. Maybe
yeah.
should 8?
Yeah. So.
Okay.
But just like
Great.
before we do that, any others like come to mind or any other questions like that? Like, I think it's kind of interesting that like it's not clear what that means to me.
Right, yeah,
It's
this
not clear what it means to know, but it's a real trend and a technology trend. And like from my perspective, it's like figuring out is there anything we need to do. At the very least, I think it would be good for us to understand what it means for Node developers to integrate AI components, right? Like this. I think Python is, okay, sure. I think, like from my perspective, I think Python is kind of the language people are going to do a lot of the core work in, but people are still going to deliver their applications in Node, so you're going to have to integrate those together. So there's at least a story of what does it mean to do that integration. It might be a simple story like, hey, our Python components are going to expose a REST API. We already know how to do REST APIs, but like having a clear explanation and helping people understand that could still add some value. So it's, but there could be lots of other things, right? So that's the kind of thing where it's an important enough trend that we probably want to understand that and be able to help Node developers understand that.
Also, I just have a question about the other languages integration in the source. Are we talking about like rewriting or writing some part of Node core in Rust, or okay, it's not like Node API or stuff like that to be able to bridge to other language? Okay, it really is a core part. Okay, yeah. Okay. Collaborate. Yeah. Yeah. Any question, point, specifics?
Think of any other ideas?
I guess Go routines, I'm guessing maybe somebody is thinking like co-routines, but then like, is this like having some specific thing that's like Go's co-routines, or
co-routines, which is threaded in Go, right? You can just execute any function in a separate routine.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like Go's co-routine implementation, right? Okay.
Okay.
Fine. This is helping me understand.
Yeah, I didn't write it, but that's what I.
Okay.
I think we can join with the lightweight stress that probably.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking.
Yeah.
Okay.
It is interesting that threading was a fairly, like it came through in the survey.
Yep.
Which is something that I wouldn't necessarily have guessed, but there was quite a few people talking about threading and multi-thread execution.
I will say, I think, I don't know how many other people have tried like actually using them in real like systems that they've been building, but there's still a lot of shortcomings.
Right.
I mean, people, they will have threads, they will have configuration, and they will not use threads anymore. So we're fine, probably. That's fine.
And also one point, someone put mono repos here. Are we talking about, integration, specific integration, or?
I think we have, I think as a JavaScript ecosystem, like probably we're looking at a future where 80% of our libraries and applications live in monorepos, so just thinking through how that affects tooling and stuff like that is kind of what I was thinking.
Oh, okay, yeah. Tooling, packages, and maybe definition
Yeah,
kind of stuff,
and
like,
our
okay.
examples
Yep.
and stuff like that, I think could be.
Okay. Could be also, everything linked to cache, for example, if you have to. Yeah, okay. Okay, let's take like 5 minutes to vote. You all have 8 votes across the ecosystem. It's not really the same. I think we can keep them in 2 parts, and maybe I will add just the number or count on each side.
Well, there's 2 that literally just say performance.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, I was trying to do it.
Unless we want to differentiate the 2 and make one about the track.
I think if I merge them now, we will lose some of the vote or stuff like that. So I will just merge the count of the 2.
How do you know how many votes you have?
Technically, if you click, so I use all my votes and I cannot click there. But if I remove one of my votes and I redo it, you have a big on top X remaining vote.
It tells you, okay.
Yeah.
I'm using my phone. Oh, you want to make sure you.
Are we good on vote? Did everyone use a vote and not kill themselves? So I think we are pretty good on that. Yeah, it's already being sorted by vote, so okay. The only thing, so performance will be 14. Okay. Okay. We do have 9 minutes left, so let's do it quickly. I will just go through every column on that, except for the performance one, I will just do the count of the buff. So its in performance is the biggest one with 14 votes on that. Oh, there is some other vote continuing to come. Okay, so performance seems to be a really big topic on that, on improving performances, which is great because we already have at least some people, and I'm thinking about Yagis, but not only working on performance, which is pretty good. But I think it's some kind of effort that we need to continue to work on and try to find a way to improve the runtime by itself. And maybe also to discuss about, do we want to improve it like globally or on a specific use case? Because I guess like 99% of the people use Node.js as a way to serve HTTP requests. So maybe should we try to find a way to improve that on HTTP or URL or stuff like that, and maybe a bit less in other parts. Like, could be one topic.
I'd ask anybody who put on performance why performance now. Is that always important? Something recent?
So again,
It's like, you know, performance, a lot of people said performance is high priorities are a particular reason these days it's important, or is it that it's always been important? Seeing if there's any sort of, anything interesting that's driving that.
I mean, one thing that comes to mind is the column, because we have to catch up with other components. There are benchmarking all the work now.
Yeah.
We have to find a way to be better at that and to say, okay, we benchmark this, let me apply the same benchmark on that and see what we get. Otherwise, you have to keep up with the other bundling and anything.
I think this is another point because I have benchmarked a few of the things that is happening in the social media, and we are not so bad, you know, like that's just the way that we are benchmarking that is without no reality. If you go to a real apps, that would make much sense. So it's more about explaining it to the users and telling that, okay, guys, this new API will mean, I don't know, 0.005% of your app. So why would you care?
I think that's like, I was trying to poke on that a little bit, is like, this is what you just said is, we need to be marketing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Performance work, right? Like, I think that's something like, maybe, I don't know,
I think
necessarily in this session, but we want to come up with, do we need to battle in marketing front against the other runtime?
So I think it's marketing, but also performance is so hard to teach.
Yep.
And so when you say like I benchmarked, I'll give a small anecdote. We operate Node.js at scale, and we had a person spend an entire quarter trying to optimize some of the framework pieces. Got like a 90% improvement in their benchmarks, released it, and it was a 1% improvement in production. Because it was JSON parsing that was actually the bottleneck of the service. And so when we talk about this stuff, when we talk about HTTP being probably the like 80-90% use case for performance workloads, it is not the micro benchmark of URL parsing that makes the difference for your application. Teaching that is like near on impossible.
Yeah, that's why.
Yeah.
You can write a big article, but if people see a very fancy graph on Twitter, you're gone.
Yeah.
You cannot compete on that, unfortunately. That's the
Well, you just need to choose a name like Fastify so people think it's fast. Like seriously, that's what people want. It's a marketing problem, not an actual technical problem.
Do we need like, you know, Node V2 or?
Yeah, exactly. Our logo is
So you are talking about a logo, so a turtle with a rocket, right? But there is a rocket.
just saying, but that's another issue.
But I don't want to, I think we can
Yeah.
spend the rest of the time talking about
Yeah.
it. I think that's something maybe we should try and have time to look back.
Can I just add something?
Yep.
The issue with performance, at least for me, I work a lot with messaging, with HTTP requests. So we handle a lot of messages along with user HTTP requests. And we had this problem, so we had to break the consumers into processes. So that was like a workaround, but that came with a lot of memory users. So that is a problem because we had like we're spending a lot of money now on memory. Not too much money, but still it costs more now because of this performance issue.
What performance do you mean?
We have HTTP requests
Right.
and messages, consumers, a lot of consumers
Right.
talking microservices, talking to each other, and when we have a peak, we have this users competing with the consumers.
Okay.
So, well, I was going to say, what it sounds like though is there's some architecture concerns that might be different. So if you were doing the same thing in Java or whatever, Python, that might be different about how you need to approach that with Node.js. And that I think definitely, like, you could be using worker threads maybe is like the thing that would help share some of that memory, but like, I mean, there's like a bunch of different things you could choose to do that might be slightly different in Node.js versus your other, whatever other language or ecosystem choice you make. And I don't think there's probably a lot of documentation or really good resources for like addressing those kind of things.
But in this case, I'm facing support on my help because in my case, where I'm losing memory, where I'm losing time, or when I'm losing the network bandwidth, I can see, okay, I have to, for instance, not to use HTTP or stuff like that. So that's why the tracing is also good for that, to help people self-diagnose what's wrong.
I'm only doing this because often I'm working with some teams, and I don't think that's the case. I mean, I think we can solve this with Node, but some developers come with this idea like, we have this bunch of issues processing messages with Node, so we're going to another language like Java or Go to support multi-threading because they don't have to think how to solve this in another way.
Yeah.
But technically, like, it's just I/O. Regardless of the threads, that's still I/O, right?
It depends because with AWS, the bandwidth is completely memory. I mean, everything is a function of the memory in AWS, right? So if the everything is usually like, I mean, you should use that and if you want to play with Java, good guys.
And there's also something about having like an asymmetric workload where you have like HTTP requests as one type of workload and in the same process having
That
different
would be,
process,
yes.
which might cause
Yeah.
some more things to be not, not as
Yeah,
well.
as I said, it's more like architectural issues.
Right, yeah.
For sure, but the thing is that the method to this, the tracing stuff just understand. I have an architecture problem. How do I diagnose that in order to see what I should do? Maybe Node is not, it's just not the right tool because we cannot be the right tool for everything, right? So maybe they have to switch to something else, which is unlikely, but.
Yep.
A good segue to the next highest one, John.
Yep. So I think we do have 1 minute left.
We started a little bit late.
True.
We started at least.
Okay. Let's take at least 5 minutes. Okay, yeah. Okay, so performance. So also tracing, if I go back to the first one, I think, tracing and every way for people to be able to follow what's happening in their code and where you can find any kind of issue seems to be one of the key topics here on technology trend to be able, I guess, to everything linked to monitoring, observability, and these kind of topics.
On that one, do people, like, is it that the tools are lacking or?
I think just because I feel that we have some user-led tracing, and when you use it, you normally lose a lot of performance. So for me, it's kind of crazy that to manage performance, you lost, 30% of performance of the web. That's no sense for me. And that's more about like Yeah. Actually, I have discussed it with Mary and Stephen about, I don't know, in the past 6 months, how to support the VPN in Node.js. There are some libraries, existing libraries like Node.trace, the trace provider, but since Node.js 19, we have to remove the support to the trace. So, well, I think we should think about a better solution. Yes, and so, but that's of course.
Yeah, I think you should bring it to the Node.
This one is going to be open source.
Yes.
But, okay. So the thing with the tracing is, the way you're suggesting, this channel has to be built in a different way that other channels that we could.
Yes.
The way NSolid does this is basically with our process that we connected to our that we extract that. The current structure for that is not existent at all. The cool thing contributing that that's an option that will be discussed.
Right.
But still, even the way we do it, the performance is it.
It's a fact, yeah.
We have benchmarked around that, but still, I think that's the best approach. What we did was we integrated OpenTelemetry inside our runtime, and that's the way we are doing it.
Let's go. So next one will be type. On this one, I do have a question about type safety integrated and everything without boilerplate. So I guess without boilerplate mean without TypeScript, or should it be integrated in a Node.js runtime by default? I don't know who wrote that, so if I can have, could be nice to have some input on this one. Was it someone online, maybe?
I think maybe because there's some new technology that support TypeScript without having to use Babel or some other library.
Okay. Not really sure about this one, but or maybe to integrate type directly, but there is something being worked on already. So, okay, it would take years, I guess, before it's being an official standard and everything, but. Okay. So, okay, supply chain security. Okay, that's pretty straightforward on this one. Do we have any idea on what we want to improve on that and or how?
Sorry, which one?
The supply chain security, sorry.
Yeah, I guess that's a good question. Like, we don't necessarily, we'd be figuring out what is it that we should be working. There's definitely been some good work, like Marco's done some good work in terms of automating our dependencies. And we're starting a process to start now auditing the build process for the dependencies. But there's things like SBOMs and, I don't know, there's a lot of discussion and we might want to figure out what we think is important for us. Go ahead.
Yeah, I guess we need. I guess since we started working on the supply chain of Node.js with automating dependencies, now auditing the build of dependencies, we need definitely a SBOM on Node.js. So I think that's something that probably the next step after the audit of dependency build.
Okay, yeah. Cool.
Anything else top of mind for people other than, anything else specific that people are thinking?
I think just aside SBOM, which is important, I think it's also important to...
It's also important to put a security layer, like a real dependency scanner. I mean, that is currently lacking, and the community has to go for third-party solutions, and I think the project should provide that. There are already security databases that could be consumed open source, but I think the project needs to take a stand on this front because it's a problem with the ecosystem.
I think that automation of security is
Well, the check of dependence, you mean dependence of Node.js or the any Node.js project?
I would say both.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, for Node.js project, I guess that wouldn't be possible because unless we ship a package manager as well, right? But for the Node.js dependencies, we are doing it currently. We have an issue, an repository called Node.js dep vulnerability. It's too long, or something like that. And we check all the Node.js dependencies, and whenever an CVE is open to one of those dependencies, we receive that and we assess right away. The next step is to automate the security release. So we will check before any release, and like the idea is to have just a button. We click, security release is out, and when we reduce the time to perform a security release, we are way safer than like waiting a lot of issues or spending 1 week to perform a security release to solve a problem. But yeah, that would be great, I guess.
Yeah, I think we won't have time to go through each of them, but I want at least to acknowledge one, which would be the collaborator mental health and protection from social media, BS.
Yeah, that's one almost like if we could figure out like a session
Yep.
or a deep dive, maybe if we can't, but like that would be a good one to have a specific discussion.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, just quickly for the other one, single executable. There's also already an initiative on that started a few months ago and continuing, and there's a lot of work being done. HTTP3, TypeScript, first-class citizen, other language integration, and on the other side, on the other column, project health and improving social media presence, and how can we continue to do that? And I think basically you will answer part of this question in like 2 minutes.
I think the project health one, we have a session on building long-term collaborators, which is a little bit related, at least one piece of that. So that's good that we can talk a little bit about that. And yeah, the social media one, we can start, it's like a 15-minute session, but we can sort of kick off the conversation based on that one.
Yep. I think that's good for this one. So we'll get the value, PR that, and it should be available quite rapidly in the Next10 repository on that.